What if I told you that there is one final step to improve your accuracy that almost everybody misses? I'm doing a test at 50 yards. I'm going to shoot grouping sizes and I want to increase my accuracy. This bow, the way I start tuning my bow obviously is I shoot it through paper, and paper tuning for me is not the holy grail. This bow, obviously the timing is perfect. I've done most of the tuning, walk back tuning, my group tuning, all those things, but there's definitely one step that I've helped so many people with to improve their accuracy, and especially when it's windy outside and so forth. And it's so easy for bow hunters out there that's got a dovetail system sight where you can move the sight forwards and backwards. This video is definitely for you. And you can do it back home. It's very simple, it's very easy, but it is very important for you to understand that when you do move your sight, it will also influence the impact of your arrows. My bow is set at 50 yards at the moment. If I'm going to move my sight towards the bow, I am going to shoot higher. When I move my sight further forward, I'm going to shoot lower. So remember that if that is the case and you're going to make any adjustments on your dovetail sight, that you are going to have a difference in impact, and make sure that you shoot at a distance where you are not going to miss the butt. A lot of people make the mistake that when they take the bow out the bag, the sight is moved in all the way and they miss completely, and that is the reason why. So torque tuning in essence is I'm going to shoot a grouping at a distance of 50 yards and I'll show you the grouping that I get. When I do move my grip and I end up torquing the bow itself, so I'll hold the bow and I'll grip the bow, there will be a difference in impact left and right. But for the sake of this video, this is where my bow is shooting perfectly. This is where I've done the test so many times. I'm going to move my sight closer to the bow. I'm going to shoot a grouping, and then I'm going to torque the bow, and we're going to see how much left and right this bow actually shoots. And then we're going to make the adjustments accordingly, and you'll see the improvements for yourself. I've moved my sight in about 7 marks in. I've sighted the sight in just to make sure that I'm hitting the middle in the 10 ring, and for the guys that are on the technical side of things, yes, I do understand that when you move your sight in, obviously the alignment with my peep and my scope housing is going to be a little bit different. At the moment I can still see my housing. It's got a little bit of a focus. The focus is fine, the magnification is a little bit different, but for the sake of this test and for the people out there, some people might just be shooting their sights in all the way. And when there is a little bit of wind, when they are getting a little bit anxious and nervous, they are missing left and right quite a bit, getting 8s right, or a couple of inches off. And by just moving your sight forward or backwards in essence, it's going to improve your grouping, that even if you do torque the bow, even if there is windy conditions and you are gripping the bow, that you are still going to get a direct line of impact very close to the grouping that you would normally shoot. So I know I need to move my sight forward. So for the sake of this video, I've moved my sight in all the way, and I'm going to shoot a grouping, and then I'm going to torque my bow left, I'm going to torque my bow right, and we're going to see the left and right misses, and then I'm going to take it to the position where I know this bow is shooting really well, where the sight position should be, and then I'm going to do the same test, and we're going to look at the comparison between the two. I'm standing at 50 yards, shooting my first arrow. I've got 12 arrows in my quiver here, so I'm going to shoot a grouping of 5 or 6 arrows that it's going to be in the 10, and then I'm going to shoot 3 arrows where I'm going to torque the bow left and where I'm going to torque the bow to the right, and we'll see the impact at the front when we're going to look at the target. That's slightly low. Not something that bugs me, it's all about grouping. And I've moved my sight in all the way. That shot just went off low. Wasn't really a good shot. So you can definitely see the grouping that I've got there in the front is about the width of the X. So this is arrow number 5. So those 5 arrows are a nice grouping size. It is a little bit on the vertical end, but its width is about the size of the X. It's about that size, the 5 arrows. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to torque the bow, and we'll show footage where the stabilizer is going to point to the left, so the arrow is going to impact to the right, and then we're going to torque it the other way. So we'll definitely see what the difference in impact is going to be when I torque the bow deliberately. Okay. So I'm going to torque it to the left. Making sure I execute a good shot. You can definitely see already the impact is about 3 inches left of that grouping. I'm going to torque it to the left. The stabilizer is going to go to the left. Make sure I aim well and execute a good shot. That was a good shot. It's with the first arrow that I've shot. Now I'm going to torque it the other way and see how much movement I'm going to get that way. So I'm going to torque the stabilizer pointing to the right. You can definitely see that's my neutral position, and now I'm torquing it to the right. You can also see the alignment of the string and the cam. That was a good shot. You can also see there is a definite movement to the right of about 3 inches. I'll shoot a second arrow, do exactly the same, get it neutral, and then torque it to the right. So we will definitely be able to see the difference in groupings. The first 5 arrows was where I did not torque the bow at all. And then when I did torque the bow with the first 2 left and the first 2 right, let's go look at the groupings. According to me, you can do it in 2 ways. You can either use your sight and move your sight. So if you do like your sight picture, if you do like your magnification and the clarity of your sight, then you would rather want to move your rest. I do not like moving my rest, because when I loosen my rest a lot and so on and start moving it, it just feels more tedious for me. My sight is a little bit more easier and consistent to move, and then I can make the adjustments with my clarifier or with my peep to make sure that I get the sight picture that I do want to get. So this is for me the whole easiest way, and most of the hunting bows these days have got integrated rests and so on, and also integrated sights, but I would actually advocate for most hunters to look at getting a dovetail system sight where you can actually move your sight forwards and backwards, and that will in essence also assist you with your grouping sizes exactly like these target bows are doing. So let's look at the groupings here. This was my first 5 arrows. It's about the width of the X. Not entirely unhappy with that left and right movements. These were the 2 arrows when I torqued the bow to the left, and these were when I torqued it to the right. So, you know, let's call it in line with the 8 line. So not, well, it's not good, but it's not bad. I'm going to move my sight forward to where I know it's been working really well, and I'm going to do exactly the same test, and then hopefully we'll see that these arrows are going to go inside the gold. I've got my sight setting. We've done the test at 50 yards. I'm going to loosen my sight. I'm going to move it 7 forward. I know this is where my bow is shooting really well, and where it's been shooting very well. Because I've moved my sight forward, I'm going to have to move my sight down. So it's actually quite a bit, to be honest. So remember to do that, guys, when you are doing these tests. I'm going to shoot at 50 yards. I'm going to shoot 5 arrows. I'm going to get my grouping, and then I'm going to do the deliberate torque on my bow, left and right, and see what impact point I'm going to get. I'm thinking that it's still going to be in the gold, and I'm going to see at least a 2.5 inch improvement from when the sight was back in all the way. A little bit left, but still decent. Just want to make sure, yeah, grouping size is not bad. Not the best that I've ever shot, but it's not bad. Okay, so I've shot 5 arrows. 3 arrows are really tight. Other 2 is a little bit low and left, about the size of the 10. And now I'm going to deliberately torque it. If the shot does not go off in the middle of the 10, I'll let you know, and then I know if there's a lot more movement left or right. But I'll torque 2 left and 2 right, and let's see the impact. First 2 that I'm going to shoot, I'm going to torque it left. So I'm going to grip it and I'm going to torque it left. That one went off on the left side of the 10, and that's exactly where it's sitting. I'll keep it neutral and then I'm going to torque it. Hope you guys can see it. That one went off in the X, and that one's just left of the X if I'm not mistaken. So I'll do the same to the right. That's neutral, that's torquing it to the right. That went off in the 10, and that's still in the 10. This is neutral, that's torquing it to the right. That went off in the X, and I think that is in the X. I'm so glad this worked out nicely. So just by having your sight on the correct setting on your bow is definitely going to make your bow more accurate. It's definitely going to be more forgiving for you, even if you torque the bow a little bit. And when you are going to torque the bow, mostly it's going to be in windy conditions. Well, personally, when I do shoot target and it's getting windy, I start putting my fingers on the front end of my grip here, and I just want to try and press it into my grip, not to really torque the bow by any means. But the most important thing is to make sure that you execute a good shot. So I'm always advocating, spend more time behind the bow, make sure you execute good shots, and that your good form is becoming muscle memory. But let's go look at the results. I did 5 arrows. Normally I torque 2 left, 2 right, and the first arrow that I torqued left, it was a little bit on the left hand side. And other than that, this is a pretty good grouping for deliberately torquing bows left or right. It's a massive improvement, like you can see here on the 8 line to on the 10 line. So torque tuning your bow, setting your sight forwards and backwards, seeing where it's going to be the most accurate for you. Make sure you do it. It's definitely going to be an improvement for you in accuracy. But when you do this test, make sure you've got a big target, put it up in the center of the target, and make sure you don't miss it. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe. Please leave me a comment below, and please tell me what you would want to see in the next videos. Catch you on the next one.